I've always loved language, you see. I've always wanted to do a language play. I even found in the realistic plays I did, when I had enough to say, it would get my motor going. And I've always wanted to do that. I remember years ago just going over soliloquies of Hamlet and Macbeth and just doing them in my room or anywhere I could. When I did scenes in acting class, I would usually pick scenes that were from Shakespeare. I just love the word. I've always loved it. And I've never had an opportunity to do it professionally. But language is something I always felt can be helpful. A lot of actors feel that language is something you go to. I feel language serves you as an actor, and it can be very helpful.
A young person comes to you and says, Mr. Pacino, what is it? What is acting? What do you tell them?
So what we're doing right now, that's acting. The other thing you do when you're in a play is playing, and I don't really know what that is. Quite. I couldn't answer you. It's a lot of things.
What is it about it that you not like so much, but you have to do? I mean, this is your life. This is your life. I mean, you have to do it. You don't have a choice.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
What is it about it that's...
Well, it's like sort of putting peas in a hat, you know. You just keep doing it. You got to do it. You don't know why, but if you don't do it, you're going to go nuts.
You know, sometimes you make movies for a lot of different reasons. You're in places in your life. You never know where you are. You're like in a certain state. I mean, we change. Things happen to us all the time, and things are different. And obviously you do a movie because of something. Now I do movies mainly for the role.
Because I was always acting, you know, in a sense, being the clown or being the interpreter or the performer.
I don't see you as a clown.
Well, that's what I did the first part of my life, you know. I did only comedy. I know, you see how funny I am? But I did it, yeah.
What kind of things?
Well, I wrote my own reviews and things, and I directed them, and I cast them, and I put them on, and
Where? I mean, professionally?
Yeah.
Where?
I mean, like in
Here?
the village, in some places in the village, yeah.
The little coffee houses?
Little coffee houses. I got a storefront and did it in a storefront and invited people.
How old were you?
It was early 20s, I guess from 23 to 26 I did that. It sort of saved my life at the time because I was, I guess, so depressed and so
Now, was that...
so unhappy that that anything funny was sort of a...
Really?
That's a good therapy, you know, to do things that are funny. I mean, I would think... I'm always fascinated by people, funny people, because I think it's interesting to be around them, too, and watch how they cope.
I'm 9 years old in the South Bronx, where there were not, you know, I don't know, kids in the neighborhood were not coming out and doing repertory. Kids don't. You knew then you wanted to be an actor?
It was something that I just did. It was as though I had the kind of, when I was very young, my mother took me to the movies because she worked, and the only time she could get to see the movies and me was when she came home from work. So we would go to the movies. So I was watching films, and I would act out the parts. I remember I would come home. This is interesting. I was thinking of this now. I'd come home, and I'd always make an entrance, you know, at night from playing. It would come in, and usually it was a dying entrance. I'd enter and die all the way into the kitchen and die. It's like when you get a part as a police officer, and the first time you get a part of a police officer, you do a lot of different things than you would the second and third and fourth time you've played it. Things change. I mean, if I was painting this room, if I started painting this room today, and I had to paint this room every day for a year, the way I would be painting this room today and the way I would be painting this room in a year, it's a different painter. It's just practice, you know. It's doing it.